Hi, and welcome to Talks with Shay. So today I want to begin with the scripture. Revelation 12:11 says, "And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony." And so today that's what I want to share with you. My personal testimony and the things that I went through, my story. We all have a story, right? And so today I just want to tell you a little bit of Shay and some of the things that we can relate to, some of the things that I went through, that you probably went through or maybe going through. And so that's what I want to share with you today. Just be very open and honest with you guys. And so my parents divorced when I was a toddler. They both remarried when, again, I was a little older. Around that age, 5, 7, 7, 8, I don't know, somewhere like that. Not sure. But anyway, you get the picture. So I remember going through a house fire when my mom remarried. I was in the second grade when that happened. And I remember they picking us up from school, y'all. And I was like crying for two things: my Reeboks and my Cabbage Patch. And so those were two things that was dear to me at the time. And the little Reeboks, y'all, I'll never forget, like they were high tops and they had Velcro. It was like two Velcro strips at the top, which I used to love my little Reebok tennis shoes. But anyway, so going forward, okay. So went through that and remember like just having to live in a hotel for a while, getting clothes from random people or just donations and things like that. I remember moving with my grandmother when I was in about 5th grade, I think it was. And then I ended up staying with her my whole life. She would drive me back and forth. She lived in Delcom, but I was going to school in New Iberia in my 5th grade year. And so she would literally commute me until the year finished. And when it did, I started going to school in Delcom. Some of my younger years, I remember being teased, even at a young age, having low self-esteem from being teased, touched inappropriately, got involved quickly into playing sports. I found that was a way out, something that I ended up realizing, hey, I'm kind of good at this. So some of the sports that I played through my years, of course, would be like baseball, basketball. I was a cheerleader. I played volleyball, ran track. And in college, I played flag football. And so I remember my grandmother, I don't remember how old I was, but her and my grandfather went through a divorce. So it was like, bam, another unhealthy relationship that I've seen and witnessed in my lifetime in such a short time. And so when they divorced, of course, it was a lot of things that took place then with moving back and forth, fighting for the house and whatnot, things like that. I remember later in life, God healed my body miraculously. I almost couldn't say the word. God healed my body. 9th grade year, I think it was, I attempted suicide. I went to sleep to my mom's house that one night and I took some pills. I just went in like the medicine cabinet and I just was taking a bunch of pills. And then I woke my brother up and I was like, look all the pills I took. I just want to die in my sleep. And so he called my mom because they had 2 lines in the house, one upstairs and one for downstairs. And he told her what I did. And she said, y'all need to go to bed because I lied and said that he was lying. But I was lying. He was telling the truth. So my mom was like, y'all need to go to bed, whatever. And y'all have school tomorrow, whatever. And so the next day I woke up and I was so weak. It's like I fainted. And so they took me to the hospital to find out that it was too late to be able to even pump my stomach or anything because all the pills had dissolved already. And so they wanted to take me to a mental hospital. And I was like, I'm not crazy. I'm not going. No. And so, of course, I'm too young to make any decisions, right? So I was forced to go. And because I didn't willfully go, let me tell you what they did to me, y'all. They put me in a straitjacket, okay? Y'all, them things y'all be seeing on TV when people be like that, that's how I was. In a white straitjacket, like, you're gonna go. So They shipped me in the ambulance to Lafayette, and I went to a mental hospital. I was there for about 2 or 3 weeks. I remember getting there, and they were like, you talk. If you talk, you get to go faster. But if you don't talk, you're going to stay here longer. And so I was like, y'all get what I'm saying? Shay likes to talk. That's why this is called Talks with Shay. So guess what Shay did? Shay talked. I talked. Everything they asked, I talked, and I told. Because I wanted to get out of there and didn't feel like I needed to be there. But in reality, I needed to be there because I hurt myself. And, suicide is a very selfish choice that people make. And I, speaking for myself from the example, we never really think people love us as much as they really do. And it's sad that it takes something like that for us to recognize, because in my mind, I was thinking nobody cared about me. Nobody's going to miss me if I'm gone. Nobody loved me. And that's a lie. It's a lie straight from hell. But at the time, it feels like that. And so all we think about with wanting to take our own lives is ourselves, that we don't want to deal with the things that we're dealing with anymore. But the truth of the matter is, people do love you and people do care. But we choose not to open our mouths and share with people what we're really dealing with. And that's what Talks with Shay is about. Opening and sharing, because we have to have somebody to let that off our chest. Some things are just going to take you out. And we don't want nobody to be taken out. I'm glad God kept me. But again, we need to learn to open up and realize how many people really do love you and myself and care for us. And so went to that mental hospital, like I said, for like 2 weeks, and then went back to school. My family even gave me a surprise party when I returned home. I still have some of them pictures. I was just so totally surprised to see like family and friends there. Just welcome home, Shalonda. They put a little thing, a banner on the house and stuff. And it showed me how much people really do love me. But I was feeling like people didn't care. So if I'm talking to you today, know that somebody loves you and somebody care. I love you enough to even share my story. But going through high school, went back to school and stuff like that. I ended up being queen on FHA Club Queen. I was on homecoming court. I won the best athletic award my senior year. I graduated from high school in 1996. And I tried UL, didn't really like it. So mama was like, you either gonna go to college or you need to get a job. So I decided to get a job. My first job was at Winn-Dixie. I was a cashier. Used to love my little job, y'all. But anyway, I ended up starting experiencing all kind of things. I guess in a sense, trying to find myself, where I fit, what crowd I fit with, caused me to start doing drugs, drinking alcohol, started doing the club thing, other different little sins that I got involved in throughout my life, And so I got arrested for shoplifting. That was an experience. And the beautiful thing about that is I do jail ministry now. And so it's like, to some degree, I can relate to them because I was arrested. I didn't stay, they kept me in booking. I cried the whole time. And so I tell those ladies all the time, they're strong. But I experienced being arrested, putting them in the cop car, and everything, put in cuffs, taking a mug shot, whatever. But that's life. And it happened to me. And so, but I'm still here to tell about it. So to continue, in about, when that was 2004, March 29, 2004 to be exact. I was baptized in Jesus' name and filled with the Holy Ghost with the evidence of speaking in tongues. And my life changed completely. The first thing the Lord delivered me from was my mouth. I had a foul mouth. My sister used to always be like, God, you gotta keep cursing so much, just filthy mouth. But God delivered me from that instantly. I remember going through different types of abuse in my childhood. being abused in my adulthood and physical relationships where I was hit and things like that. Then I went on through life. 2004, December 2004 was my first marriage, and then I got divorced, and then I got remarried in a state of mind of a backslidden state of mind. I left God, got mad at God, left God, like I said, and so I ended up going into a second marriage. That didn't work for whatever reasons, which I know the reasons. I would just rather not give details. And then I end up coming back to God and got married again. And so got divorced again. And so there went 3 divorces between 2004 and 2018. And so don't be sad. This ain't not sad. It's okay. It's part of life. But if you remember in the beginning, I said I seen a lot of unhealthy relationships. And so what happened to me, unhealthy relationships that I saw, I end up being in unhealthy relationships. And I'm not using that as an excuse, because we can do better and make better choices. We don't have to be what our parents were. We don't have to be who grandparents were or who our sister is. We have to be who God said we are. So I'm not going to use that as an excuse, and neither should you, for whatever reason. It was decisions that I made. Did I want the divorces? Just one of them I really wanted. The other 2, no, I didn't. And I remember people laughing at me for going through my divorce, being mocked. I could get teary-eyed just thinking about that, because I wouldn't wish anybody, my worst enemy, if I have one, to experience going through a divorce. Nobody gets married to be divorced. And sometimes you can't choose decisions that other people make. One of my spouses made a baby on me, and I can't have kids. So that was like a slap in my face. Had to have a hysterectomy at a young age, in my 30s. And so that hurted, having to know that I can't have kids, but then my spouse went and made a baby on me. But you know what? It's all good. I wish them well. I really do. And I just thank God for forgiveness, because there's power in forgiveness. We can't move forward in our lives, really move forward with that burden of unforgiveness. And I had to choose to forgive. And the way that I feel God allowed me to forgive, He made me pray for them. I have to pray for their marriages, pray for their relationships and things like that. But it helped me. It was so many mornings I'm like looking at God like, is that God telling me to pray for their marriage? Showing me things in dreams and things like that, things that they were dealing with. But I prayed for them, and I prayed for their marriages as well. But that's where true forgiveness come from, and it helped me to forgive them. I'm not going to say I was perfect in none of those marriages, because not by far I was perfect. I made mistakes myself in those marriages. I could have done things differently. None of us are perfect, but it's life, I ended up moving to Florida for like a year, because I just didn't want to see this particular ex-husband and anything like that. So for a year, I moved out there, did a life for like I said, a year, and then I came back home. Remember that morning ironing my clothes, and God was like, it's time to go home. And I thought, oh my God. And I remember coming back home, and I was good. The Lord had strengthened me and restored me. And when I did see them, I was fine. Divorce can cost you a lot. It cost me a lot. I had to file bankrupt before, have vehicles repossessed, wondering if different things, how I'm going to take care of this, how I'm going to manage that. But in my singleness, I bought a house on my own. A lot of people do that when they're married, have a spouse, because it's easier. But when I tell you, I watch God faithfully provide for me, have bills being paid, didn't know how they got paid, and He kept me in my house, the house that He gave me. And I'm so thankful for that. My grandmother, I lost my grandmother in 2016. I remember years ago, even when I was in college, praying and asking God, please don't take her when I'm in college or when I'm single. And he didn't. He took her when I was married. And so I miss her. I miss her a lot. She was like my biggest supporter. Y'all, if I told her the skies were purple, she literally believed me. She always worried about me. She always would say, it's their loss. It's their loss. When this relationship would fail and that relationship would fail, it's their loss. And I look back now and who I am today, guess what? It was their loss and my gain. Because I realized, you know what? God has somebody great out there for me, wherever he is. And to those people that talked against me being divorced and judged me, you better be careful, because you don't know what's knocking at your door. We have to be careful what we wish on people and what we say against people, because I'd rather be divorced and single than being a marriage unhappy. Because right now I can honestly say I have peace in my life. The peace that God has given me, instead of being in a marriage that was unhealthy, unhappy, and everything like that. Though my dream is to be married. That is my dream. Like I said, 2 of the divorces I didn't want. I didn't sign them. I got served and that was it. Didn't go to court or anything because I didn't want it to happen. But one of them, oh yeah, goodbye, And so, but even then, I can look at any of them now and I'm fine. I have peace. I've seen them, and it's all good. And so I don't know where you are today, which of the things that I went through in my life that you can relate to at one extreme or another, maybe relating to now. But I want to close in telling you this. There's hope. And you are who God say you are. You're not what your past have dictated you to be. You're not things that people have said. So many times the closest people to me, it's almost as if I don't think they could think anything good can happen. Well, I pray they live to see that day, because God will raise me up. His word tells me that I am not the tail and I am the head. And I believe that, and I stand on the promises he have given me. But I stand today where I'm sitting. But I'm sitting here today talking to you to tell you that no matter what it looks like, it can get better. Like it just finished raining outside and there's rainbows of God's promises for us. And when I see those rainbows, I think of the promises he have made to me. And one of them was to give me beauty for ashes. And I'm holding and I'm waiting for my promises to be fulfilled, because it can't rain all the time. The sun has to shine again. So whatever season that you may be in, like my pastor always say, it's not always winter time. Whatever season you may be in, understand and know that it's not going to always be that way. The sun will shine again and things will get better. They don't stay like that. And I'm a living testimony to show you they don't stay that way. I just thank God that I don't look like what I've been through. And I'm thankful for that. I hope that this testimony, my story, in one way or another, have touched you and encouraged you. You know what? If Shay could get through it, so can you. If God can bring me through all of that, he can bring you through. And a lot of times, I'm not going to blame everybody else. I made decisions. I own that. So one of the hardest things for me was to realize, Shalonda, you have to forgive yourself. You have to. Because I could forgive other people like easy, but I struggle with forgiving myself. And if that's you today, you have to realize that, you know what? You're not perfect. You're never going to be perfect. It's just not going to happen. You're going to make another mistake. You're going to fail. And I remember preaching one time at jail ministry, and I told those ladies, there's power in getting up. And so don't choose to stay down. Why? Pick your head up high and just know maybe today might be my day for my sun to shine. And know that you're not there alone. And I'm here for you. You have ways to contact me. Like my page, share my page, email me at talkswithshay talkswithshay at gmail.com, or starting to kind of do a website. I just found out like it's not free, so I'm undecided if I want to do it or not. But we're looking into other things. You can message me on Facebook. Do whatever you have to do to get in touch with me. YouTube, subscribe to it. But I'm here to tell you that you're not alone, that whatever you're going through, either someone have walked in your shoes or are walking in them now. But know that you're going to be okay. So look yourself in the mirror today. And if you're in a dark place, I challenge you today. Look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. And this too shall pass. It's not always going to be like this. Greater days are yet ahead of you. So I hope to hear from you guys soon. Thank y'all for liking, sharing, and subscribing to Talks with Shay. It was a pleasure, and I hope something I said today helped you and encouraged you in one way or another. And I look forward to meeting with y'all again next Friday. If you have any questions, comments, anything you want to share, things you want to talk about, let Shay know, and we'll pray about it and see what God would have. Until next time, y'all be blessed. And remember, there is always hope, and you're going to be okay. God bless.